Hi, welcome to our Girls in Tech Ambassador series again. Hopefully you're not a first-time listener, but if you are, welcome. And hopefully, well, I know you're going to be inspired by our ambassador today. We have got today with us Tsholofelo, and I was so excited to hear your background, the journey you've traveled towards the career that you're in now, and just where you find yourself in your career. So I'm super excited to hear more today. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor. And I'm so excited for this. And yeah, looking forward to sharing my story and my journey with regards to my career. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure. Where do we start? I think let's just learn a little bit more about you. So where did you grow up? What sort of education journey did you follow to get to the role that you're in now? And maybe just to actually kick us off with just the context of what that role is before we go into the detail of it. But your role, where you grew up, and then how you got there. Just, I'd love to hear that.
Okay, so as you've mentioned, my name is Tsholofelo and I'm 25 years old. And I was born in this small township called Mabopane in Pretoria. And yeah, I'm a qualified biotechnologist. I'm also a two times certified data analyst, and I'm currently doing my final year in IT, and I'm specializing in software engineering. So yeah, currently I'm at a phase by I'm literally trying to join the science field and also the tech field into one. So like yeah, and I actually now am an intern. I'm an intern in one of the biggest manufacturing companies in Africa, and I'm more into quality assurance analysis. That's what I'm into. So it's basically about analyzing the product, making sure that we get insightful insights and also data from it. And yeah, besides my career, I'm more into reading. I love reading, hanging out with my friends, reviewing the books that we've read. We're more into hiking, exercising, attending concerts. And I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, and I absolutely, absolutely love spending time with my family. So that's basically who I am. And
And
yeah,
still a Pretoria girl?
still a Pretoria girl, but then currently I'm still a Pretoria girl, but then where I work, it's in Joburg, Kempton Park. But then
Right.
literally Kempton Park, it's like not too far from Pretoria, also not too far from Joburg. So it's like in between. Still a Pretoria girl or even, but then yeah, that's who I am.
Oh, well, I love that you gave us a view of your personal self there. I just actually was interviewing for someone in my team today, and I asked him the question of what do you do when you're not a scrum master, which is my role in tech. And it was quite difficult for him to give me an answer. He just kept defaulting towards work. And it's really the ambition of Girls in Tech to say the tech sector needs real people. It needs you as you are, bringing yourself. And that's what we're going to find out today is a little bit more about you. And I really do hope someone somewhere will be listening to this interview and will be inspired by your journey. You mentioned being a QA analyst. Is that the correct title for your current role? Can you
True.
can you expand on that a little bit and just for the sake of everyone listening, just give us a little view of what does that mean and what does your day-to-day look like?
Okay, so a QA analyst in a fast manufacturing industry would be different as compared to someone who's working maybe in the banking sector, maybe insurance sector. So it's quite different. So to explain what I do, so as I've mentioned that I have a qualification in biotechnology. So we actually start by being involved into the research department, whereby we research about the type of products that we want to innovate, that we want to, put in the market. So we're involved into that. And then another thing, we are into testing and also analyzing the product that we have. What goes into the product? Are they good? Are they, is it going to give out what we really want? Then after doing that, after analyzing the product, testing it out, and then now from that product, we now get, insightful data from it, and also ensure that we make informed business decisions. That's where our tech skills come into place. whereby we incorporate our data analysis skills, ensuring that, you know what, we have the correct data before putting the product out there and saying that, you know what, it's okay that now we can put it out. So that's what we do. And that's my role there as an intern. And yeah, pretty much that. So it's analyzing the product, making sure that the product is in good condition, therefore collecting data based on that. So that's what we do at a fast manufacturing industry as a quality assurance analyst.
Yeah, I'm so glad you just used those words there at the end, because I remember when I first heard about QAs in a tech world, it took me quite a long time to be brave enough to say to somebody, what does QA mean? And that quality assurance was a really big learning curve for me. It's such an important role because basically it's the sign-off. It's this is good enough, whether it's for consumption in your world or whether it's for going out into a platform in sort of the IT tech platform development space. But such an important role, I think, and really important to kind of recognize that actually it's got a lot of leadership requirement around it. Have you found as an intern that leadership has been something that you've had to sort of embrace around knowing that you're responsible for the quality?
True, 100%, 100%, because as if it happens that you were in a specific position whereby you had to be the one analyzing the product, you were the one who were there from the initial point. So you have to lead the whole entire project. So you have to have good leadership skills, and you need to be able to trust your work and say, you know what, as a quality assurance analyst, I'm saying that this can be put into the market. So this needs to be put into hold. So it needs you to have good leadership skills, but then at the same time, incorporate your colleagues and say, you know what, we're having this problem. How about we work together as a team and then deal with it? So yes, have good leadership skills, but then at the same time, have that ability to incorporate your colleagues, especially when you're an intern. You know, when you're an intern and also a student, you sometimes doubt yourself whether should I go for it? Should I just, just lead it? But then you really, really need to have those leadership skills. And also don't be afraid. If you're an intern, don't be afraid to, like ask for help and say, you know what? I know that I'm supposed to lead this, but then this is where I need help now. Incorporate your colleagues, and I promise you it's going to be perfect for you, and it won't be that hard. So yeah.
I can see from and hear from how you're speaking that you really enjoy the role, which is fantastic.
I really do. It's amazing. It's such an amazing role. And I just realized that IT is so vast. So it can literally be incorporated into each and every career field. So yeah,
It's
it made me realize that I don't regret going for tech, and it was worth it. So like, yeah, I really enjoy my role and love doing it.
nice. I think there's a real lesson there in what you were saying for anyone who's listening, is this tech sector is such a fast-paced, fast-moving industry that the word fail, and you were saying you've got to be brave enough to try something even if you don't know it. That word fail, we often refer to it as an acronym for, let me see if I get this right, first attempt in learning. So basically it is, don't be afraid to fail, give it a go, try something. Obviously there's boundaries within which you can do that. You don't want to send it out into the universe if it's going to impact somebody. But that for me is such a powerful reason for, especially for young women going into tech, is this space where we don't have to be afraid to fail, because it's just about learning.
True. That is so true. To add on what you just said, it's funny how I never thought I'd be in the tech space. And I was like so held up by imposter syndrome. And I was like, should I really go for it or not? But then there's this code I live by recently. And then it says it's okay to celebrate success, but then it's very important, to heed the lessons of failure. So don't be afraid to go through that stage, through that process. So it's really worth it, and it's part of life. So in order for us to get there, we really need to go through that. So like, yeah, true, 100%.
Nice. I think back on my career, and I think some of the best moments I've had in my career have actually been born out of very big challenges. And I think often some of the feedback we've had from these Girls in Tech ambassador interviews is that it seems like getting into the tech sector is this big challenge. But have you had any challenges you've had to face that you feel like have really helped you get into this space that would be helpful for anyone else to know?
Yeah, I've had many challenges, a lot. You know, when I started my tech career, I had no tech background at all, like zero experience. And it was actually recommended to me by my brother. And then he was like, you know what, you can do it. So go for tech. And then initially I had to work 10 times harder than those who had tech experience, and it was so difficult for me. And there was a point whereby I was like, you know what, I think this is not for me. I wanted to deregister. And then fortunately for me, I had really good support system from my family and also friends who encouraged me that no, you can still do it. you know People do experience hardships. You don't really have to give up initially just because you're facing you're feeling the pressure. And yeah, also I remember when I was doing my first year, shucks, I experienced loss. I had to grieve. I had to be admitted at hospital. And I remember telling my friends that I want to quit this career field. And I had this wonderful lecturer who said to me, no, we can see the potential in you. You don't really have to give up now. And also, I was faced with the challenge of starting all over again, another career field. I felt like I'm not really fitting in. But trust me, I had to persevere, and it really worked out for me. And I'm glad I did, because look where I am now. Going back to the quote that I mentioned, that yes, it's okay to celebrate success, but you need to, it's important to heed the lessons of failure. So those are the challenges I faced. I experienced loss, and I was faced with imposter syndrome, and
Mm.
also, trying to adjust to this whole new career field. But then eventually it worked out for me, and trust me, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm so loving it. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can see. I love what you said about a lecturer who specifically said to you, don't give up, I believe in you, you can do it. And that's a theme I find often with women in our careers, is finding a champion in whatever space you're in. Even if you're not yet in the workforce and you're looking at it, or you're in a team, and you're new in your career, building a support network around you that you can really go to when you experiencing loss in your life or personal trauma. It's really important. And I would even say to anyone listening to this, if Tsholofelo is inspiring you, which I'm sure she is, and you're just thinking about how can I do this, start building that support network now. Get your LinkedIn profile out there, even if you're still a student, and just start following people who are thought leaders. And even though it's digital, sometimes those people become your champions.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Which, I'm so inspired by everything you've said so far, and for you sharing your story with us. Every single time I have the honor to do one of these conversations, I learn something new, and it just reminds me how each of us brings something unique into the workplace. I'd love to just reflect back on the young version of you. If you were able to sit in this space with the 16-year-old version of yourself, do you have any advice that you would give yourself?
Sure. Okay. Firstly, what I would say to the younger me, I would say to her, instead of fearing change, rather embrace it. Change is a normal part of life. So don't fear change, embrace it firstly. And also, life is definitely not a race, it's a journey. Because, growing up, especially when I was still in high school, I was so into focusing on a particular career field early and then succeeding in it and then sticking to that one particular career field. But then growing up, I realized that no, actually, this whole life thing, everything about life is not only about, doing things and arriving early or succeeding early than anybody else, but rather it's a journey. And your journey is definitely different from other people. And it's okay to embrace change. So embrace the change and make sure that you take those risks. Don't be afraid. Take that risk. It doesn't have to be love at first sight. Just go for it. rather fail after trying than not trying anything at all, or because like you fear that you're going to fail in it and whatever. So rather go for it. Go for it. And I'd always say to my younger self that this quote by Bill Gates, you know, it has become my personal mantra. Like I live with it daily, that you know what, yes, you can celebrate success. It's okay. It's okay. You should, but it's important. It's very important to heed the lessons of failure. So that's what I would say to my younger self. That's what I would say.
I hope she'd listen. It sounds very wise.
I hope she listens. I hope she does. I hope she does. Because wow, I hope she
Um,
does.
well, I've loved chatting to you. We're heading towards the end of our window for our conversation, but we will post this on our social platforms as Girls in Tech South Africa. And I do hope that anyone listening is inspired by your story. I'm going to be a bit cheeky and just summarize some of the brilliant points I think you've highlighted here, which anyone listening would benefit from. And then please feel free to add anything to the list. I think I've got 6 or 7. Advice
Sure.
by Tsholofelo.
Okay.
Number 1, no tech background is needed. Number 2,
100%.
be prepared to work hard. Number 3, build a support system.
True.
Number 4, embrace change. Number 5, enjoy the journey and take risks rather than looking for love at first sight.
Definitely. Oh my God, that's so perfect. Yes, 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 definitely.
I think we have the first chapter for your book.
We do. Just to add on what for women who want to be in the tech space, they have with implement. Once you're good, so that you do better. You do. So there's so knowing the steps that have been better. So be obsessed with improvement and to succeed in whatever that you put your mind.
Those sound like perfect words for us to end on.
Definitely. So that's what I wanted to add on the list.
Thank you. I want to just personally thank you for making the time to have a chat with us. I'm personally looking forward to watching your career flourish, and thank you very much for being such an inspirational woman in tech.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. You know, it's such a pleasure. And yeah, I hope that to those who will be listening to this, they'll be inspired and that they will push and push and push so that can flourish in their careers. Thank you so much for having me.
All the best. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.